What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a look at some new One Piece cards, including a couple that seem specifically designed to take old leaders and make them better. And I, for one, am totally okay with this. Let's start off looking at a new Crocodile, obviously from OP-12. That's where these reveals are coming from. Quick interlude at the weekend for the new starter decks, and then back to OP-12. We got 6 cost, 8k, no counter. But when your opponent attacks once per turn, Don -1. If your leader has the Baroque Works trait, if it's Baroque Works, then your leader or one of your characters during this battle gains an extra 2,000 power. Yeah, basically, you've got a Don -1 counter plus 2k built in every turn. And sure, yeah, fine, you have to Don -1. But honestly, at this stage, Purple have got so many tricks for getting the Don back out again. I don't worry about that like I used to. In the early days of the game, I used to really worry about having too many Don minor skills in any Purple deck. Nowadays, we've got so many ways to accelerate Don. It's not like it used to be. I'm not too worried about the Don -1. Obviously, you have to be a little sensible here, and yes, it is a downside, and yes, you do have to recover the Don, obviously. I'm just saying it ain't a downside like it used to be. And it's just got a counter plus 2k. And this is going to be super annoying for your opponent, because every time they attack, until you've used this skill, they kind of have to figure this one out. Essentially, they're going to have to either bait this out, or when they've got an attack that they really want to go through, they're going to have to get an extra 2k on there at least, because they know this is coming out. We've all been in those games where that extra counter plus 2k wins us the game. Well, here you've got that extra 2k counter every turn, potentially. It's really powerful under the right circumstances. But this isn't an every game, every deck kind of card. This is only for Purple Baroque Works. Yeah? This is only working if your leader is purple, because you can only play purple cards if the leader is purple, and is Baroque Works. Well, the good news is we've got 2 options. They're both Crocodile. We've got the OP-01 Crocodile, which is blue-purple, and then we've got the OP-04 Crocodile, which is your Lakers Crocodile, your yellow and purple Crocodile. However, well, I'm just going to tell you what they do, and then it's going to make perfect sense. So the OP-01 Crocodile, when you activate an event, Don X1 of course, you may draw a card if you've got 4 or fewer in hand, and haven't drawn a card using this leader's effect during this turn. Okay. Lakers Crocodile, on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck by your effect, add a Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. So it literally activates when you use your skill to return a Don during your opponent's turn. Like, this fits so well together. Basically, if you've got this leader Crocodile and this character Crocodile, you use a Don -1, you get the 2k bump, and then you get a Don returned from your leader skill. So this is very explicitly support for the OP-04 Crocodile. Is it going to be enough? I don't know, is the honest answer. We still haven't seen the rest of the set, remember? But this is a very nice new trick. An 8k body that doesn't have any counter on it, but essentially gives you a 2k counter every turn? Yeah. If nothing else, this is mighty tempting. But it's not the only support for old leader that we are seeing coming around in OP-12. Because we've also got a new Kalgara coming. And here we got 5 cost, 6k, counter plus 1,000. And on your turn, when a life is removed, and it says when a life is removed, that could be yours, your opponent's, either player, draw a card. But then for the rest of the turn, you cannot draw a card using effects. And it doesn't specify character or leader. It is any effects, so sorry about that. So you draw a card and then you can't draw any more using effects for the rest of the turn. But of course, we know how this kind of stuff goes, right? No, you can't use any more effects for the rest of the turn, but just time it out. Make sure that you're drawing with Kalgara when you've already used the rest of your draw skills, if you've got any to use, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So what this really does is it stops using multiple Kalgara. It stops you linking more of these up. But if you're only trying to use one of them, then it's not really going to stop using other character draw skills, because you'll just use all of them first, and then you'll be fine. It's a nice little piece of extra draw. It's going to give you a nice little extra bump. Draw power is good. One Piece is not always a game that has a lot of draw power. So honestly, having some draw power here is honestly a really big deal. We like this. Getting that bit of extra draw power, job's a good un. Now, obviously, this isn't like your Crocodile, which specifically says your leader has to be Baroque Works. This works with anything. It's just a yellow card. 5 cost 6k, counter plus 1,000, yellow card, yes. However, obviously, this is going to fit nicely into, well, Sky Island decks, as an example. Or Shandy and Warrior decks. Like, you've got Kalgara from OP-08, and then you've got an L from OP-05, and those are leaders that could work quite nicely. I mean, again, it can work with any yellow leader, but obviously you've got all those things that search for Shandy in here, so they're going to work out quite nicely with Kalgara specifically. You know, this is searchable with Wiper, as an example. It's going to go and search it out quite nicely. Or with Shura, for instance, if you're searching out Sky Island instead. My point is, it's not leader locked like the Crocodile, but there's still a bunch of other tricks you might want to use. Upper Yard, for instance, will search for Sky Island. So when you're using these kind of cards that are giving you that extra search, it's going to give you that extra amount of consistency. And given that this is Sky Island and Shandy and Warrior, we've got those searching things that we can use here. That's where I'm going with this. It's good. Honestly, and it's drawing every turn. Well, every turn of life is taken, but you know what I mean. Really good, big fan of this, love it. Now, one of the real themes of OP-12 so far, and as always, argue with me in the comment section about this, I don't really get Rayleigh. I'm not really in on Rayleigh yet. Because you see, Rayleigh says you cannot have cost 5 or higher characters in your deck. So you're already starting off on a massive downside here. Not a big fan of that. And then, you know, Rayleigh itself is fine. So it's got a thing whereby activate main once per turn. You can show 2 event cards from your hand. And then you take an original character or power of an original character of 4,000 or less and give them a 2k bump. So my problem here is, firstly, you're really limiting what we've got in terms of deck building availability. You know, it's already a mono leader, so you're only playing red. Now we've also got the fact that you've got to have 4 cost or lower, and then there's that skill that you got to show 2 event cards from your hand. But we got a couple of more that are coming along here, like the Jinbei, 3 cost 4,000 power, counter plus 1,000, 4 cost or lower, fits in the Rayleigh deck. And on play, show 2 red event cards from your hand, and if you do, you gain Rush. And then afterwards, until your opponent's next refresh phase, this character gains 1,000 power. So it turns into a free cost 5k with Rush, which is basically like OP-01 Zoro. But the big difference here is that unlike OP-01 Zoro, this has a counter. Otherwise, it's basically the same card. Free cost 5k red character with Rush. The difference is Zoro always had Rush. This only has Rush if you show 2 event cards from your hand, but you get counter plus 1,000, whereas Zoro had no counter. That's the payoff here. And it's just a little bit annoying, honestly, because we've again got this thing where, well, am I just holding 2 event cards in my hand for the entire game? And here's the thing, right? If you hold 2 event cards in hand, you can basically play this. You show them, and Jinbei is a free cost 5k with Rush. But then you show the same 2 cards when you activate Rayleigh's skill, and now it's not a free cost 5k with Rush. It's a free cost 7k with Rush. And obviously, free cost 7k with Rush, crazy good. Crazy good. But the problem is, you've got to have those 2 event cards in your hand at all times, basically. And that's going to be super annoying as you go through the game. Or maybe a free cost 7k with Rush is brilliant. I mean, it clearly is brilliant. My point is, I'm not saying the Rayleigh stuff is bad. I don't know that the Rayleigh stuff is bad. My point is, it seems unnecessarily awkward. And it's not the only card we've seen in the past few days which is really explicit Rayleigh support. Because we've also seen a brand new Kozuki Oden got revealed like an hour ago as I record this. 2 cost 3k, counter plus 1,000, activate main once per turn. You may reveal 2 event cards from your hand, and then this character gains 2k for this turn. But it's an activate main. It's not a on-play skill. Would have to have Rush to be an on-play skill as well, to be fair. So it's basically a 2 cost 5k. Or if you use Rayleigh's skill, which is once per turn, remember, it's potentially a 2 cost 7k. So maybe this is all worth it. Maybe that 2k bump from Rayleigh, in addition to all of these really explicit cards, is going to be enough. Maybe we are boosting up these small cards enough, but it does strike me as just a little bit awkward. Having to keep 2 event cards in your hand essentially at all times to activate these skills, little bit awkward. Locking yourself out of a huge amount of even the 1 colour you're allowed to play, awkward. But if I'm looking at Kozuki Oden, which is essentially a 2 cost 5k, potentially 7k, and I'm looking at a Jinbei, which is a 3 cost 5k, potentially a 7k, and all of these cards have counter on as well, I don't know. Maybe I could be convinced. To be clear, I'm still not convinced about Rayleigh, but I'm telling you that the more and more cards we get revealed with these skills, the more my interest is starting to be piqued. But I've told you about all of this now. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you're excited about. Tell me what you want to be having to play with. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Good us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.